How to deal with a difficult boss. That's what we're going to cover in this video. Let's get started. I will be referring to a number of leadership traits in this video, which I've taken from my research, the 30 Principles of First-Time Leadership. If you want to know what are the 30 principles, there's a link in the description below. Just click on it. Imagine this. You enjoy the work that you're doing and you love the job that you're in. However, you have a difficult boss to deal with who doesn't trust you or who micromanages you. What are you going to do about it? In my research to answer this question, I've come across two general school of thoughts when it comes to answering this particular question. The first school of thought is to quit. And here are some supporting reasons to do so. 1. There's no job in the world that's worth the torment that your boss is going to put you through. 2. You cannot control when your boss is going to leave his job or her job, but you can control when you can leave yours. 3. You work in an area or your industry where there are plenty of jobs available. 4. Your personal circumstances gives you the flexibility and the option to go look for work somewhere else. Whatever your reasons might be, if it is better for you to quit and leave your job instead of having to deal with a difficult boss, then do so. And then you can stop watching the rest of the video because it's not going to be relevant to you. Now, if you're still around and you're looking forward to the rest of the video, it means that whatever your circumstances might be, the reasons that I've given earlier do not really apply to you. Basically, you need to keep your job. I'm going to share with you the leadership traits that you are going to need in order to deal with such a difficult boss. Being a boss or being a leader of a team is not easy. There are a lot of self-doubts that a leader has to go through. Am I good enough? Am I ready to lead this team? I don't have an answer, but I need to pretend that I do. Some leaders are genuinely afraid that they are going to be replaced by someone else, especially when they notice they have team members who are capable leaders in their own jobs right now. Other leaders may genuinely be new in their jobs and they don't actually know much about it. And so they have a general level of anxiety to ensure that nothing goes wrong. And one way to ensure that nothing goes wrong is to micromanage everything so that things are done exactly the way they want it to. So with all these insecurities that being a leader or being a boss might have, what can you do about it? One thing that you must realize is that there's really not much that you can do to help your boss overcome their own insecurities. That's something that they themselves have to do. However, the insecurities of your boss shouldn't stop you from developing your career or becoming a leader in your own right. Look, it's important that you remember that your boss is in charge, so you need to be aligned to the direction that they have set. However, it shouldn't stop you from having an honest and open conversation about your job and the direction that you can take to develop it further. One thing that you have to note though is that even when you're having such an open and honest conversation, keep in mind that your boss may be looking at this conversation from the perspective of fear and their own insecurities. So rather than focusing on managing your boss, you need to realize that what you need to manage is the fear. And so the cure to fear is to build trust. And that means that the conversation that you need to have with your boss around your job is to understand what are the areas that you can do to build more trust. Your conversation will also need to look at understanding more of your boss, how they work, so that you can find the areas in which you can build trust. When you're having that conversation with your boss, it's a perfect opportunity for you to have an open and honest conversation about your work, to get to understand them as well and to let them understand you. This is also a good opportunity for you to bring up specific examples where you feel that you have been micromanaged by them and how it has negatively affected your performance at work. This conversation is actually essential because there are times when bosses or leaders may not even be aware that their behavior is actually having a negative impact on you and maybe other people around you. And so helping them to be aware of their behavior or their actions or the words that they use is a step for them to move forward to overcoming the fears that they have. Look, at this point, you're not going to know how your boss is going to react or respond to the conversation. If your boss responds in an open manner and accepting of your feedback, then you're off to a great start. But if your boss reacts to your proposal for a conversation or reacts to the conversation itself in a negative way and they're closed off to your feedback, then you need to be prepared. Therefore, you do need to go into this conversation with the possibility that this could very well be your last day at work. I know it sounds a little bit drastic, but it's better to be prepared than not. And if things turn out successful, that's great. But if not, then at least you know that you have given it a shot to improve the situation at your workplace rather than to continue to suffer in silence. When you're having the conversation, it's a good opportunity for you to stay curious and to find out more about your boss, how they work, what are some of their preferences, what is it that they see in you and your performance. It's an excellent opportunity for you to ask them how you can improve. Where are the areas that you need to work on so that they can have more trust in you, which in turn will then give you more freedom and flexibility to perform in your job. When you're having that conversation, take the opportunity as well to ask insightful questions and to listen to what your boss has to say. Sometimes it's not just the words that are said, but the meaning behind the words. And when you understand what is actually being said, the meaning behind the words, you can then connect to the perceptions that you have had about being micromanaged. So if your boss is saying that you're actually doing well in your job, then it might cause a trigger for them to reflect on what is it in their words, actions, or decisions that's making you feel micromanaged or making them come across to you as being difficult. So if your boss says that there are areas of improvement in your work, then they could very well be justified to micromanage you. In that case, you will want to steer the conversation towards having a roadmap where you can show improvement in your work, which will then allow your boss to give you more trust, freedom, and flexibility in your job. If you enjoyed this video so far, really appreciate if you give me the thumbs up. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you have yet to subscribe to First Time Leadership, do click on that subscribe button to be notified of when new videos come out to help you with your leadership journey. And lastly, if you have any comments about what I've shared in this video, do share a comment below.